Right, final video before Nerd Arcade opens next weekend. Pretty much everything's running, but as per usual, certain things have failed. Let's go and make a little video just for my own reference, really. So Wild Riders, that's had all sorts done with it during lockdown. Main thing though is constructed a foot plate for it now, so the brake now operates and also the game fully works. I won't kick it off because it'll just make noise. Sega Rally 2 has been moved over here just due to cramming in more machines. We've got Ridge Racer there, that's a newish one, so before lockdown that wasn't there. And Tekken 3, big unit there, so two-player fighting game. Time Crisis, we had that before. Rave Racer, it was downstairs, it's moved up. Silent Scope, it's been there for a while. Operation Wolf 3, Point Blank 2, and this is a relatively newish one. Golden Tee, what arcade doesn't have a Golden Tee of some description in it? It was a nice cheap pickup. Unfortunately, there was very little wrong with it. A few adjustments on the monitor, replaced the BIOS battery, and jobs are good. If I had my way, I'll get Golden Tee out of there and get something like Centipede, Millipede, make use of that trackball missile command. Sega Rally 2, fully up and running in the corner there. House of the Dead. That was faulty before lockdown, it's fine now. Star Wars Racer or Pod Racer, Initial D3, both of them are working. One issue with Initial D3 is the link up, so I know Darren's very keen on having this linked up, and it does work linked up, but the way the kind of like BIOS battery backup works is it loses that information, the config for it, after a couple of days. So it can be configured to work linked up, but it won't always be by default set to linked up because it loses that information. That has to be done on an as-need basis until that's further looked into. But I believe it's a standard anyway. Those batteries only last a couple of days in there. Candy Cab had all sorts of issues with this Candy Cab. What we're going to do is every week or so change and have a dedicated game in there. So currently it's running Sunset Riders, 2-player game. Got two couple of little stools there for you as well, so we sit 2 players complete. That's all working fine. Sega Rally, Daytona 2. All up and running, now has sound and force feedback. Didn't have that before the shutdown, so that's cool. Jurassic Park Lost World, jobs are good. Vindicator, jobs are good. I think I replaced the marquee light in there, but yeah, that's all fine. Terminator 2, adjusted the monitor now, so you can now see both sort of like stats, but it still has that little degaussing issue, which is life. Mortal Kombat 2 is all sorted there now. The BIOS is all being configured, and that's now set for on easy mode or normal mode, so it was locked on hard mode. So that's pretty much upstairs. So if you'll notice all the 80s stuff, I don't think there's anything 80s up here, is there? Don't think there is, nothing 80s. Yeah, all the 80s stuff, apart from what's in the Candy Cab there, has all been moved downstairs. So we've got some nice new graphics on the side there. Just put it in lockdown, put my motif. I've got the lights off down here, so the shelves have now been stocked by Glorious Geek. So he's got all his new merchandise in here, and all the 80s machines have been moved down here. A couple of 90s in here, but all the 80s stuff has been moved down here. So we've got Phoenix, that was relatively new, came during lockdown. Simpsons has always been over there-ish. Mrs. Pac-Man, gone a bit dodgy again, so it's currently turned off. Track and Field, fully working there, lovely. Golf, Good 80s classic. Mr. Do was upstairs, we moved downstairs. Pac-Man was upstairs, downstairs. And we've got the original Atari Star Wars tucked in here. Now it does work, but the monitor does need some TLC. If I turn it on, I've actually got it opened up there. If I turn it on, powers up. Force will be with you. So, monitor power up. This is a vector monitor. Not that I'm any sort of CRT guru anyway, but this is different, obviously, the other monitors that we've got in here. So it's warming up there. And we got Star Wars.
Standing by.
And it now has a kit in here where you can toggle between Star Wars and The Empire Strikes Back. Don't know if you can do that during the game. Just give us a second. So press and hold that for 2 seconds. Press and hold that for 2 seconds. Let go. Yes, and there you go. So that's toggled over to The Empire Strikes Back. So there's a keyboard combo you can do there to toggle over. It's also set to free play. Atari's Star Wars doesn't set to free play by default, so this kit gives you that option as well. It also retains the high score. So there we are now playing The Empire Strikes Back, which I'm not that familiar with this game. There's tutorial modes for this one, but unfortunately the monitor, as I say, does need some TLC because it does tend to power down after 5-10 minutes worth of play. Toggle that back, press and hold that, press and hold that, and there you go. And I'm back to Star Wars. So that's pretty cool. Just need to look into that monitor. Still got the cocktail table there, still running Twin Cobra. Switches on the wall there. It's been off since pre-Christmas, so it's doing a whole sort of updates. I've updated the firmware on it, and it's now ticking away, updating Fortnite and so forth. New cabinet here, running Bubble Bobble, and I think I've accidentally got that unplugged, but GTI Club is there and that is working. I think just when I've been juggling these around, that the cables obviously come a bit loose. Anyway, GTI does work. Let's just look who's going on. I'll just check out the shelves. So Glorious Geek has loaded up the shelves with these juicy merchandise. There's obviously some game merchandise. We've still got our guest traders in here, NA Toon. There's another new guest trader coming. The Vectrex is tucked away at the moment. The Pong's still sitting there. And that's currently in, I think. I think that summarises it all. Yeah, Nerd Arcade, open in a week's time. We've even got some unbranded merchandise here. Water bottles and mugs. I've got some t-shirts upstairs for myself. And hoodies. Yeah, cool.